Today is November 22nd, 2019, and this is your daily Half-Life 3 update. There is no news about Half-Life 3. There's two things I wanted to talk about super quick. I want to make this as quick as possible. First, I wanted to say I decided that I'm not going to do the Q&A part today. I'll do that tomorrow because that usually ends up being a longer video and kind of running low on time. So that gives everybody a second chance to ask more questions if you got them. I will still answer the questions from yesterday's video. So if you got questions for today, just put them in the comment section and I'll answer those too. And the second thing I wanted to mention was Patreon. I will have the link to Patreon in the description of this video, as well as a couple other links. This is probably going to be one of the few times that I mention Patreon or Discord, because I don't do that much. I don't promote myself. Other people on YouTube will end their video saying, remember to like, comment, subscribe, and click the bell. I don't say those things because I don't know, that's just not who I am. But I wanted to mention Patreon specifically today because I was thinking about it, and I'm going to have Patreon up. The simplest tier is just going to be the $1 tier. It's just kind of blanket tier. Obviously you can support more than $1 if you want. Everything that I get from Patreon will go specifically towards me getting the stuff I would need to play Half-Life Alyx. So whatever I get is just going to help chip away from that, because it is some pretty expensive stuff. I do want to get Valve's headset specifically for this, because I do like what I'm seeing with this Knuckles thing they got. So that is kind of what I'm looking for, and that of course is on the higher end of stuff, it seems like. So that will go for that. And what you'll get on Patreon, which is another thing that I decided about today, besides getting videos a day early, which I have a lot of videos that I've been planning coming up. I want to keep doing Lost reviews. I have more podcast episodes coming up. I really like doing the weekly rummage sale videos that I do on Fridays, so I'm going to keep doing those. And I have a bunch of other stuff that's going to be coming towards the end of the year, because 2019 is kind of the end of a decade, so there's going to be a lot of stuff about this previous decade, my favorite films of the decade and stuff like that. And the last thing I decided that I'm going to be doing, and this is going to be exclusive to Patreon, so even if no one watches it, because no one gets Patreon, it's going to kind of be a little bit waste of my time, but oh well. Exclusively for Patreon, I'm going to be doing a playthrough or Let's Play or whatever. I don't like calling it Let's Play because I don't like Let's Plays. But a playthrough or commentary or whatever of every single Half-Life game. So I'm going to go through, I guess, release order of every single Half-Life game. Obviously starting with Half-Life. I'll go through Blue Shift, Decay, Opposing Force, that was the one I forgot. And then Half-Life 2, the episodes, and I'll even throw in Portal 1 and Portal 2. So I'll do Let's Plays, playthroughs, whatever you want to call them, of those, and that will be exclusively on Patreon for the people, only for the people who support me on Patreon. I don't really have a time frame of when that's going to start or when it's going to come out. I'm still kind of looking at it because I want it to kind of pace these games out. So by the time I start with Half-Life 1, and I want to go through them so that it ends Episode 2, will be very close to Half-Life Alyx. So that's kind of how I want to have it paced out. I'll include Lost Coast in there. Uh, I've played a couple mods that I really like. I'll even throw those in there. It's, like a fun 10-minute mod, no big deal. I'll probably have like a preview up on this channel for free to entice people to watch it. Yeah, so, and it's going to be something that's going to be really interesting because a lot of this stuff is stuff that I have not played before. I haven't played regular Half-Life. Obviously, I have played Black Mesa. I haven't played any of the Half-Life spin-offs. I haven't played Portal 2. So, and this is all stuff that I've wanted to play and have been meaning to play at some point. So, this now just kind of seems like the right time to do it. And this seems like something that hopefully people would want to see, and this could be an incentive for people to support on Patreon, because I am going to try and rely on Patreon as much as possible for the, what do you call it, the VR stuff that I'm going to be needing. Because, also I was looking at some of the comments from yesterday, and there was this one guy complaining, nice guy, he was talking, I guess he was like criticizing me, saying how I was talking about my trips to Hawaii for the Lost Con, while saying that I might not be able to afford the VR headset stuff. There's a couple things about that. The trip to Hawaii in May of 2020 is something that I've been planning significantly longer than Half-Life Alyx, so that in a way takes precedent. And also, I like Lost more than I like Half-Life and Half-Life 2. Lost is one of my favorite things ever. Like, really. So Lost in general is gonna take priority over most other things, to be honest. I have a lot of Lost stuff, Lost merchandise. I watch Lost a lot. I mean, Lost is actually what I originally intended my channel to be about. I wanted to have a Lost channel where I talked about Lost all the time, but it turned out into a Half-Life channel. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I gotta prioritize what I save up for, and right now I'm prioritizing to save up for, Lost, this convention in Hawaii. Lost. It's something that I've done before, and honestly, I'm a little more sure I like it. I'm thinking that I'm most likely gonna like Half-Life Alyx, but I couldn't. But I could not like it. That's a possibility. I'm pretty sure that I'm gonna like, the trip to Hawaii, because I've done that before. And so yeah. So check that out. Check out the Patreon. I'll have more updates about when I will start the playthroughs, whatever you want to call them. I just gotta look at time frame of when they're gonna be released. And yeah. That has been your daily Half-Life 3 update for November 22nd, 2019.